Hello, viewers. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the latest live stream of Viperio All Access Live. My name is Christopher Sword and I am founder and managing director of Viperio Esports Club. And today we have a very special guest. We have Viperio's Street Fighter V player, Connor Boony Boon. Connor, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, all good.
Uh,
Lazy day, a day as I mentioned earlier, but yeah, is what it is, and it's that period between Christmas and New Year's Eve when no one has any idea what's going on. We don't even know what day it
mhm.
is, so I'm just going through that phase with everyone else, but I'm all right generally. Yeah,
No, that's great, and thank you for coming on. I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. Everyone's just sat chilling, very relaxed, so that makes it the ideal time to do a live stream for us.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
so yeah, thank you for coming on, Connor.
No worries, it's
Uh,
fine.
Getting straight into it, maybe do you want to just tell some of the viewers who may not have come across you before just a little bit about you and sort of what you do within esports?
Yeah, no worries. So I'm Boony, Street Fighter Five player, as Chris said. I stream live on Twitch, and normally Monday to Friday. Um, 7 till 10. I play
Hmm.
Ryu, who's kind of like the most dull, kind of boring character in the game, but I don't really mind because I kind of like him. And yeah, I mean that's what a lot of people say, but I mean I think he's all right. I think he's fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm a student, so I'm in my third year, so I've got that all at the same time as well. And normally, outside of COVID, I'd be doing other activities like I normally gig and stuff. I'm in bands, etc., and I've got a lot of other extracurricular stuff. But obviously, because of COVID, we're kind of stuck in this kind of situation.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much my main kind of thing at the moment.
Oh, well, you're definitely a man with lots of things to juggle, so it's very impressive that you've got all that going on at once.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I'm not. I don't. I mean, we're saying all at once, but I mean, I'm like sometimes I'm doing like one thing and then forgetting about the other stuff, and then it's like I'm kind of just sailing through and just hoping for the best, really.
just going with the flow. No,
Yeah.
that's how we like it. So you've mentioned that you're a Street Fighter V player. So do you maybe want to talk about how you sort of got into Street Fighter? Like, what made you sort of want to try the game at least?
Yeah, so I think throughout my childhood and stuff, like when I had like a PS2, etc., I did have like very old versions of Street Fighter and stuff, and I didn't really have
Okay.
a clue what I was doing because I was really young, but I was kind of just like playing along with it and stuff. And then as I got older and stuff, I think my nana got me Street Fighter 4 from Tesco in like 2009 or 2010. And then I was like, all right, okay, this is really cool. And I was just playing. I was kind of like just going through characters again, not really knowing what I was doing.
Hmm.
But then when around 2013, 2014 hit, that was when I started to take an interest in the esports side of it. It wasn't as big, it was quite big then, but now it's even bigger because esports over the last 5 years or so has just exploded, and even before
Hmm.
then. But yeah, and at that time when I was starting to watch more tournaments and stuff, and there's a thing called the Capcom Pro Tour, which essentially is like the kind of esports side of Street Fighter. It's a thing where there are tournaments all around the world, and competitors will travel to these tournaments to get a certain amount of points. And
Okay.
then the players with the most points, normally around the top 32, compete in a tournament called Capcom Cup, which is where kind of like the best players in the world are finding it off. Like I think it's $250,000 prize now. It was a bit less then, but now obviously it's getting more popular and stuff. With more money has got into it, etc. And during that time, 2014, 2013, more so 2015 as well, I was watching more tournaments, and then that made me want to play more. And at that time, Street Fighter 4 was the main Street Fighter title. And then
Hmm.
I was playing it a bit, playing online, etc. And then I think I went to my first Street Fighter 4 tournament in 2015, which is an event called Versus Fighting, which is pretty cool. But like, I think I went. It's normally double elimination, and I went 1 and 2. I lost my first game, won my second game, then lost my second one. But again, I was so like new to it all, and I wasn't at the point where I was mashing buttons, but I was at the point where like I kind of barely understood the basics, and I knew some stuff,
Yeah.
and then but then essentially, whilst all that was going on, the trailers for Street Fighter Five were coming out, and everyone was getting hyped for that. And then the year after, I think it was February 2016, Street Fighter Five came out, and then obviously, um, there was like the few weeks before it came out in game, like they had like a PS4, and you could play like an earlier version of Street Fighter Five.
Yeah.
So essentially, because I was really enjoying it, I was just going in game. I wasn't even buying anything. I was just going in and just playing the. I'm surprised I didn't get told off, to be honest. And there
Stop
was like
recognizing your face.
yeah, exactly, right. and there was a little tournament thing with that as well. Once the game came out, and then I made it quite far into that, and it was like essentially the tournament was if the top so many players would go to Insomnia and doing this final 16 or something. I can't remember what it was, and I got to the
Okay.
last stage and then I lost at the last stage, which is quite like,
Oh.
but this is like 2016, and then from that point I was like, right, this seems really cool. And then and then that was when I was like, right, I want to put more time into it, etc. And then when 2017 passed, I started going to like locals, which is where essentially each place in the United Kingdom, or wherever you go, but let's just say UK for now, whether it's Merseyside, whether it's Newcastle, whether it's Scotland, and certain areas in Scotland, they normally have their own scene and they have
Hmm.
their own local scene. So wherever you're from, there will be within some kind of how many mile radius there'll be a local where you can train, etc., and compete and meet new people, etc. And that's kind of how you build yourself up within the community. And I saw Newcastle Fight Club advertised in 2017, and then I
Hmm.
went to my first one in around July or August, and then I've kind of been on and off going to those locals from 2017 to now. And through that time as well, I went to a few major tournaments. So when I was talking about the Capcom Pro Tour earlier, those are held at major tournaments, and they normally have one in the UK every year, or two or three. And I went to a couple of them because they're only on, like I said, a couple of times a year.
Yeah.
But during that time, although I was playing a lot, there was a bit of a clash because, like I said, I like to gig and stuff. And when you're
Hmm.
gigging with bands, I was going through an agency, so I was gigging every weekend. But then tournaments are normally weekends, so it's like I had to like sort myself out. I basically had to get someone to cover me in the band so I could go to tournaments, and then it was all kind of like a lot at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially it was just through the locals at Newcastle Fight Club definitely helped me to stay motivated with the game, because it's like it's really nice because you'll play online for like a month or so, and then you'll go to Newcastle because that's where this one's at, and then you kind
Yeah.
of talk and train and play, and then see how you do, and then you go back and come back next month, and it's a really kind of friendly kind of atmosphere and stuff. And this year was when I got into streaming because of COVID and stuff, and then I started to stream quite consistently. And then I've been trying to build that up. I'm taking a break recently, but I'm wanting to get back into it around either early January, mid January. I haven't decided yet because I've got exams, but yeah, that's basically how I got within the scene, really.
No,
Sorry,
that's
I'm sorry if that was a bit too much, but it was just
no.
like it's hard to summarize so much that's happened. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you've gone through a lot of years there, so I mean, you've been involved
Yeah,
in the scene for quite a while. And I
yeah.
mean, listening to what you're saying, one of the things I really like is the fact that you just had this like real love for the game. It wasn't as if, like, for example, Fortnite, you see these big prize pool tournaments and
Oh
that
yeah,
leads you
yeah,
to compete. It seems like there was a real interest in Street Fighter, and that's kind of led you to where you are today and still be passionate for the game.
yeah, for sure.
Uh, you touched on it towards the middle of that last answer, and it's the sort of local elements of these fighting game communities. So do you maybe want to talk about sort of Newcastle Fight Club and how you get involved with them?
Well, yeah. So essentially, I think before Newcastle Fight Club, I think that was something based in Teesside, which I've forgotten the name of.
Okay.
But essentially, I think that was more of a Street Fighter 4 thing, and then it was still going. And then I think at some point it transitioned to Newcastle Fight Club because the Teesside event wasn't running anymore. This was before my time within the local.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I think that's kind of accurate, but there's probably a bit more in depth than that. But yeah, I was just kind of the way that I found the local is I was on Facebook and stuff, and there's like fighting game groups and stuff on Facebook, and then I saw one for Newcastle Fight Club, and then I hit join. And like I said at the time, I was kind of clashing with being in a band, and I was like, oh, I can't do this because I'm at a gig. And then eventually I sorted it out to go. And then my first local was in it was a place called, it used to be in Geek Retreat in Newcastle, which was on, I can't remember the road, but you might know where it is.
I'm not
Um,
familiar, but
okay.
continue.
Yeah, that's where the first one was, and then throughout the years we've done it at different locals.
Hmm.
And MQS was the guy who hosts the event with a couple of guys who help with the bracket and stuff, but it's normally him that hosts it. So he'll run around with like a laptop with the bracket and stuff and shouting everyone's name like, oh, this versus this. But it's not just Street Fighter. They do like they've got quite a big Tekken scene. There's Mortal Kombat. There's other stuff. It's just fighting game tournaments. When you have these fighting game tournaments, it's not just Street Fighter. It's like,
Yeah.
if Street Fighter's not really a thing, there'll be other things. Might be Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, etc. Eunice. There's all sorts of different things. But yeah, so I kind of went to that first local, It was weird because I never really been to a local before. I'd went to tournaments, but not a local. Locals are different because it's like I said, it's kind of your top talent within whatever region you're in will travel and then to play offline in like a double elimination seeded tournament.
Hmm.
Which, as I said before, whereas a double elimination is where if you lose, you get another chance in the losers bracket, and then you can make it to grand finals and then etc. And essentially, I just went to that first one, and then when I was there, it's like it's kind of like when you really like something because when I'm there, whenever I'm at a local, I just forget about everything else in the real world. Like my phone, like it might be going off. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not looking. Like I'm just like I'm here. This is my thing, and I can text whoever back when I'm done. Do you know what I mean? You don't even realize you're there. Sometimes you're just like that's
Hmm.
how I know that this is kind of a passion. This is the thing I really want to pursue. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how it all works within the communities. And then each, like I said, each kind of whether it's Merseyside, whether it's Glasgow, whether it's Edinburgh, whether it's London, each kind of has their own local, etc. And all of their competition will go to their areas, and then sometimes they'll travel. So like I've traveled to the London local, which is winner stays on.
Okay.
And That's like quite a big one. You get like the big names from the UK there. And I've traveled to other ones as well. I've traveled to the Merseyside one. I've traveled to the Leeds one. Um, I always try and make the Newcastle one. I
Hmm.
prioritize that and then go to the others if I can. Was normally the plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really inviting. It's not. It doesn't really work on invitation or anything like that. With nine out of 10 Street Fighter tournaments or fighting game tournaments, it's not invitational. It's not anything like that. It's anyone can enter sort of thing. You go in and you do your thing, and then that's
Yeah.
just how it's always been, really.
No, because I think that part of the Street Fighter and the fighting game community scene really stands out to me. You saw that like community element, like
Yeah,
when
for sure.
I don't have a background within the fighting games, but when I look at it, especially as like someone not involved in it particularly, it really stands out because it has that warm, welcoming feel which other titles may not necessarily have.
Yeah.
Do you think that's part of the one of the reasons you're still really into Street Fighter? Is it going to these events, meeting these people? Does that play a really large part of it?
Yeah, I think that going in and meeting the people is definitely part of the charm. Like you said, a lot of it isn't as inviting, or a lot of it is. It's very kind of online based, and I know with stuff like I don't know that much in depth, but I know with games like League of Legends, to even go to certain tournaments, there's qualify stages, right? And you have to
Hmm.
you have to be at a certain level before you can even quite like enter and all this stuff. Whereas with Street Fighter, it's like it's like a great thing because it can be someone who no one has ever seen before, and they might pull some kind of amazing thing and beat some top player, and you're like, oh my god. And that's the beauty of it, because you get these like amazing moments and upsets, and it's crazy, but it's like it's really good as well. It's really hype. It's always hype. That's the thing as well. They try and maintain that. And yeah, it's really welcoming. It's cool. It's just I like it. And
Hmm.
if anyone likes fighting games, or any, there's so many different styles as well. You can try Street Fighter and be like, that's not for me. Try Mortal Kombat, Tekken, whatever you like. And if anyone is kind of interested in it, obviously once everything COVID related has died down a bit, I recommend to go to whichever local or is closest to you, whether it's Merseyside, Newcastle, whatever. There normally will be one within range of a certain area almost all the time.
Hmm. And it's interesting that you've said that. You said this is such a large part of the community, and then you've also touched on COVID. So, how's the sort of the scene changed or evolved to sort of respond to that? Are there online tournaments people can enter?
Yeah.
Or
So a lot of it, with the current circumstances, a lot of it has gone online.
hmm.
Essentially, the whole Capcom Pro Tour and stuff, which is like there's always online like CPT events, but most of
Yeah.
it is most of the points you get is played through offline events through around the world, and that's how it works. The players travel, they get as much points as they can get by placing certain level, and then they try and qualify for Capcom Cup. That's how the pros kind of work with the whole thing. But obviously, when COVID happened, everything went to online, and it slightly changed a little bit the format. And so there's new online tournaments have emerged. Like there's this thing called UKIE, which is an online local, which is every week, and I've entered a couple of them. And
Hmm.
then there's essentially, because of what's happened, the online tournaments have kind of exploded a little bit, and there's quite a few now. Like if you do really want to compete, there's a weekly, especially, well, it depends on which region you're in and stuff. But for
Yeah.
EU, there's always the Salt Mine League, which is every week, which is like an online tournament, and then there's the UKIE, which is most weeks, I think, and then there's even more than that. So there's never it's never like there's always something going on online every week or so, which is really nice. And the thing is, as well, because of COVID, a lot of players have been training online and stuff. And when the moment comes for when we can all travel, and so many players and stuff have been practicing online and they've been getting better, and everyone is just ready for that offline event. Everyone's dying for that offline
Yeah.
event because Street Fighter Five, the net code within the game isn't amazing. It's shown to be quite inconsistent over the years. You can have flawless connections with some people, and then with some people your ping might be as good, but your connection is. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of all over the place.
Hmm.
But so that's why everyone's dying for offline because you don't have that like it's a lot cleaner offline. You don't have the online lag or anything. There's no online elements that can get in the way. You're there, you're sat next to your opponent, and it's like you're in the zone, and everyone misses that because that's where you get your clean games. That's where the hype moment happen because you'll have two players playing, and everyone will be watching on a big monitor, and everyone misses it, man. So I'm just waiting for all that to end so we can all go back to doing what we do.
No, and I mean, you've kind of said it yourself. The fact that they are such an important part of the community. I mean, once they can come back, everyone's going to be so excited to see everyone again get stuck in. So you've definitely got something great to look forward to. I'd like to move it on just to focus a bit more on your Twitch, because that is a
Yeah.
big part of your involvement within games and esports. So, what sort of made you want to start streaming rather than just playing and competing? What was it about streaming that took an interest to you?
So I think I always wanted to touch into streaming for years, but it was
Hmm.
just I didn't really have, for some reason, the motivation to do it. But the
Okay.
main reason that I got into it was COVID because obviously we can't do the things that we want to do. Like a lot of my life, the things that I want to do, whether it's I love doing social things like going out with friends, and I like going to tournaments, and I like doing gigs, and those are all very kind of um social things that you do with a lot of people. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And essentially, all of those are kind of like my three main passions. Those are the things that I love doing, and they all had to stop. So I was like, I'm just stuck at home, and if I need a new hobby, I need something to do. So the kind of like the whole misery of COVID was like, right, okay, well, this is a really bad thing, and I don't want to do this, and everyone's going through the struggles. So now to make up for that, I'm going to do this, and then I did, and that was the main thing that drove me. And then it's still quite hard to keep a consistent routine, but I think especially for like next year, I definitely want to be sticking to that kind of Monday to Friday evenings, as long as, like I said earlier, if I can wake up early and sort myself out and do all the uni work and do all the things I need to do, then I
Hmm.
can make sure there's always time for playing and streaming when you're at uni, even if you're in third year. At least for my course, it's different for
Yeah.
everyone's course. But I know that if I organize my time, I can still stream Monday to Friday, and I even want to start doing more YouTube content eventually. But like I said, I just need to. It all stems from your sleeping routine. If you go to bed at a reasonable time and you wake up at a reasonable time, at least for my case, if I wake up quite early, get everything I want to do early, and then if I'm finished at like 1, 2 p.m. from everything I want to do, I've got time to edit videos, I've got time to stream, I've got time to play, I've got time to watch other people stream. It's like
Hmm.
if you get all the stuff you don't want to do out first, it's like it gives you your freedom. And I've only got 5 months left of uni anyway, so it's just a case of grinding it out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, as a fellow student myself, I understand your struggles. And I mean, fair play to you for balancing it all, especially with it being in your last year. That is a lot of work.
yeah, for sure.
Uh, just sticking on your stream a bit. So primarily stream Street Fighter, and that
Yeah,
is just because it's the game you compete in. But you also do stream a few other games.
yeah.
Is there a reason that you potentially stream other games? Is it just to appeal to more audiences, or do you enjoy those games as well? Or
It's kind of a lot of it is Street Fighter can be stressful, and when you're competing,
hmm
anything is stressful when you're competing and trying to be the best of what you can be in whatever it is. Like people do get stressed in Street Fighter ranked and stuff like that because it is a stressful thing.
yeah,
Because like you can't like sometimes you can't like avoid getting frustrated and stuff because you want to do better than what you're doing, etc. So it's normally just to take away kind of stress, the strain from the Street Fighter stuff. And I want to normally I think I'm normally doing it like 5 days a week, but I think I was either going to do like a kind of weekend, kind of just something totally different stream where I play something else, or I was
hmm
going to put something in a random weekday. I haven't really yet decided yet, but I did kind of get satisfaction from playing scary games, which is weird because like I don't like jump scares and things, but it's one of them things where like you don't like it, but you do it anyway because it's like
yeah,
if it's a good game, Like there are some good like scary games out there. I don't really like the ones where it's just pointless and it's just there to just make a fool of yourself. Like someone jumps out in front of you. There's no
Hmm.
story. I don't like any of that. But stuff where it's like really good and it's like a really kind of chilling experience. I like that, and people have shown interest to that. So I think I would like to play like something scary once a week, and then like I started the Resident Evil series and stuff like that. And I've done other things. But then I also like daft games. Like I played Cuphead on a few days ago, and some other stuff. And I think I played Tetris. I played a variety of things. But like I said, the main thing is Street Fighter. And if I'm getting too stressed with that, or if I just need a break, I think I should put my stream. I'm now thinking about it because I can get quite heated with the game. I think I should
Hmm.
probably do it on a Wednesday when I do something totally different, because it means I can do Monday, Tuesday Street Fighter, have a break, then Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday. And I think, even though I've literally just made that up now, I think that is the way to go.
Yeah.
Something
Well,
like
I
that.
mean, it's interesting that you've said that because I mean, just through things like G science and research into esports as it becomes a bigger thing, the idea of like avoiding burnout and taking breaks. So you say that you potentially play these other games to take a break from the stress of Street
Yeah,
Fighter. Is that
yeah.
something you think is quite important in order to compete highly in the scene?
Yeah, well, I think when it gets to competing like with the best and stuff, yeah, I think breaks, just don't overplay. I think a lot of the game is quite mental based, and you need to make the really good decisions in like clutch moments and stuff, and that's a big, massive thing. And sometimes there are just moments where you'll just make the wrong decision, etc., or something will go wrong, and you need to accept that it's okay to lose. You know what I mean? It's okay to make that
Yeah.
mistake. It's okay to lose the XY players. Do you know what I mean? Like people get so stressed. This is me myself, by the way. I'm totally talking about myself, not but
Hmm.
I put loads of pressure on myself, and players will do that, and because you think, oh, I should be beating this player, or I should be losing this, and then like you just kind of get in your own head so much that you're not even paying attention to what's going on anymore. And then at that point, it's like not only are you losing, but you're not learning. And
Yeah.
like it's cliche stuff, but normally the cliche stuff is right. Like where if you lose, you don't really lose if you learn. And it is kind of true, because if you lose, right, let's say you lose something, whatever you lose to a certain character, you watch it back and you have a look, and you'll see how you're making decisions in certain moments. Or you see, actually, I should have done this there, I should have done that there. And then you've learned like five different things just by watching one set. And then, what you can take away from that experience, and then start again, repeat, rinse, repeat. And I think normally that's the way, if anyone's plateauing and wants to go through improvements, etc., working on those kind of little nicks, those little errors that you're making, and then right, okay, that's fine, that's fine. As long as your mental game just doesn't go, I think it's absolutely fine. Just try and stay positive all the time. Take the
Yeah.
breaks when you need to, and don't pressure yourself to the point where you just overexhaust yourself with thoughts, because it's just that's too much. I think you need to
Hmm.
look after yourself. You know what I mean, and you need to make sure you're enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
This all of this I've gathered from my own personal experience, especially this year, because I've overplayed, I've put pressure on myself, and people have seen it on stream, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like this on stream. I want to be positive. I want to, you know what I mean? It's a learning
Hmm.
experience. Everything is all a massive learning experience. But as long as you stick to those things, I think you'll do fine. And just don't put too much pressure on yourself. That's the big thing for me, because you see all these good players, and you want to be as good as them, and you want to do all these amazing things, and you're like, that's the ticket for me. You just got to chill and just play and
Hmm.
enjoy it.
I mean, I think you could apply that lesson to nearly everything in
Well,
life.
yeah, I
Like
know
you
that's
want to be
true.
positive and take a break if needed. So that's really good insight, especially from the eyes of a competitive player.
Yeah,
So I do want to quickly touch on one viewer question, which we may have touched on towards the start of the stream.
yeah,
But this is from Faxi the Traveler. I hope I've said that right.
yeah.
And his question was sort of what motivated you to swap from playing Street Fighter 5 casually sort of competing in it? Was there like a moment that sort of caused that switch? Is there a standout event or?
I think it's just collectively going to more and more tournaments. You kind of like,
Hmm.
when you're at a lower level, and like it's kind of like a scary thing when you're not where you want to be, and let's say you're at a lower level or whatever, and you go to these tournaments, and like if you're not that good yet, or if you're at a beginner stage or whatever, you'll kind of get beat straight away, and then you're like, oh my god, I just traveled all the way here and now I've lost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it is quite a scary thing when you're beginning, because it's like that's where a lot of the audience, I think, can fall, because it is like when you first play and you learn some things, and you're like, oh right, this is sick. All right, I'm the best player ever. I'll play now. And then the reality is, you'll go to a tournament, and you're like, oh my god, everyone's so good, and I can't even do this combo, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And I think, but going like pushing yourself and being a bit like stubborn and just keep going and keep playing, that's the main thing that I think that changed me to a bit more to get into it more competitively. Just going to more events and training stuff, and also getting really friendly with the community, because a lot of the times when you let's say you play a really good player, etc., and then you lose, and you might lose quite convincingly or whatever,
Yeah.
a lot of the community is friendly, and you can just say, look, right, I lost, like, is there anything I can do better next time? Especially with the pro players, because they understand the game so well that, you know, they'll make like quick wit decisions within like a few seconds, right? It's this type of player, I need to do this, I need to apply this game plan, etc., and then that's the thing. And
Hmm.
they'll probably say, all right, this is what you did wrong, and then you can take that, and then you come back and do the next thing. So I think the thing that really made me shift into a more to take it more seriously is just going to the tournaments and stuff. And because obviously you spend money to go to the tournaments, so you think, because, you know, it's not like madly expensive, but to get the train, etc., and food whilst you're there, you know, you're
Yeah.
spending money, you're spending time, you want to kind of make the most of that time. And for me to do that, it's like, right, let's take it more seriously, go to more events, then train more at home. So yeah, I think just collectively going to those events was the thing that changed me to be more competitive, I
Oh,
think.
that's great! Great to hear that the sort of the love for the game and that drive to get
Yeah,
better
for
sort
sure.
of evolved over time. Well, that's all we actually had to go through, Connor. So, I mean, once again, thank you for coming on. To everyone that's watching, make sure that you do follow Connor on Twitter. You'll be able to find that quite easily just by going through the Viperio account. And I mean, yeah, Connor, it's been great having you on,
No,
and
it's been
hopefully we can
great being on.
get hopefully we can get you on for more. So once again, for all the viewers that have tuned in, thanks for coming along, and hopefully we've kept you entertained. The video will be available on YouTube to watch if you have missed this live, and hopefully we see you again for more streams in the future. So once again, Connor, nice speaking, and I'll
Yeah,
see
no
you all
worries.
next time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.
I like to come along and I see the sun.